I remember you enjoying yourself. He first of all got out of school his last year at high school
Yeah, it was my senior project.
to
That's how
write
I
a
quoted
paper about your trip to Italy.
it. Yeah.
And on one of the nights, Joe breaks down and has he literally
This is
Wow,
traumatizing
this is getting really
to me.
personal.
So-
This is trauma.
this is
What were
not
you
only
upset about?
traumatizing, it's pretty funny.
Give us a little insight. Like, what were the emotions?
Let me drink
of
from my
Rome?
goblet.
do
Welcome to the Father Leo Show, and as a special treat, I thought this is my idea. It would be a very good idea to have some of our team join me in this kind of roundtable discussion. And I want to call it the back of the house, because the back of the house in a restaurant or a food industry is where all of the work gets done. The front of the house is where the customers experience all the awesomeness. But there's a lot of work that goes in the back of the house. And I want you to meet some of our team members. So starting off with Grady. Grady,
Hello.
tell everyone about Grady. And by
So-
the way, I call him Upgrade.
Yeah.
Upgrady.
Upgrady.
Upgrady, right?
Upgrady.
Upgrady.
Yep. So I'm from Maine
Or
originally.
Upgrady.
Okay, listen. Just because I love free trips. You know,
Yes, he does. We are talking about that in a minute.
I love a good pilgrimage. But yeah, live here in DC. Run social media for Father and different Catholic figures, and it's a blast. It's
And
fun.
he's also working to secure our guests for our shows.
Yes, of course.
And he has been known as my luggage handler.
to say it nicely.
Yep. On the pilgrimages, and he's never carried one bag. He gets a free trip, and he just carries nothing.
I take a lot of photos and videos.
And Grady, it's been about a year since you've been working
It's
with
been
Plate
about
and
a
Grace.
year.
Has
Yeah.
it really been?
It
Yeah.
has been that
been
long.
about a year.
Joe, however, I have known for. Go for it,
Since
Joe.
I was 12 years old. I'm live cutting right now too. So if just letting everybody know that if it jumps
you're the
between
producer,
cuts like
that's your
this a
job.
lot, it's because I'm
Look like you're like losing your
In
mind.
other
doing a couple
words,
things.
he's just doing his job, and he's letting everybody know that he's doing his
back
job.
of the house.
Doing
This
my
is-
job.
It's
And so,
real.
Joe, how long have we known each other since you were what?
I was in 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade.
Yep.
So what's the math? Was I 13? I don't know what the math is.
It's I don't know.
around
either.
around that age. Do you want the whole story?
He was
though?
a 16-year-old 8th grader.
I have no idea. I really have no idea. What are you when you're in 8th grade?
About 12, 13 years old. Like it's because you're
Okay.
14 when you go into high school, I think. 13 or 14
Is
when
that
you get
right?
freshman.
Yeah, because sophomore year, you're about 15.
So
when
I've
get
known
your
you
permit.
for over almost 30 years.
Yeah, I would say it's about 30 years.
And you were a big YouTube artist, popular guy.
Yeah, if you want to mention that, I guess we could, but we won't.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
no, you were in
was a
Hollywood doing your.
filmmaker.
Yeah, you're
okay,
a
so
filmmaker.
so we met when I was in 8th grade, and then we just kept in touch over the years, and I got into video production, and we worked together a few times throughout the time that I moved out to after
Correct.
college, and then I moved into California in 08. And then, I got involved.
And then when
in-
I got ordained, Joe was crying at my ordination.
I was just
Did
very
you go to
happy
his
for you.
ordination?
He went
Yeah.
to my ordination. He went to the first mass. And at the end of the first mass, I was offering first blessings. Joe waited at the very end.
Did you kneel in front of him and he came over and
Well, he knelt, and I went to pray over him, and he grabbed me around the waist and cried.
oh,
And there is a picture of that somewhere.
we gotta find that.
Yeah.
Oh, we
I was
have
just
it.
so
Put it
happy
on the
for you.
screen for
Do you
people.
remember my hair?
It was a little colored.
I had like
Highlights.
tips, like frosted tips.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
Justin
colored,
Timberlake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we've known each other, and he's actually, by the way, he is the director of productions for Plate and Grace. And so that's why he's letting everybody know he's doing his job.
Yeah,
And
I'm clicking as the cameras switch. I'm doing that right now live because I can.
thanks for giving away all of our secrets. I appreciate that. So what I wanted to talk with you guys about is, why are you working with Plate and Grace? I mean, what?
Lost our minds, really. I mean,
Pretty much. I mean, like with Joe, he just was desperate for a job. No, actually, he's very talented. He can go anywhere. This is me being very honest. You, Grady, what possessed you to reach out and say, hi,
I'm Grady.
hi, I'm up,
On
Grady.
LinkedIn. Messaged him on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. I mean, who checks LinkedIn?
Apparently you do because you responded pretty quickly.
Did I really?
You did.
Okay.
Maybe that was out of desperation
And what's funny is
from
that
working with me.
well, yeah, desperate.
Oops.
Well, when I messaged you, you were pretty quick to respond, and then I didn't. You said email me, so I didn't email you for like 2 days, and you got impatient, and you were like, "Where's your email?" Like you were like waiting. I was like, "Wow." Okay.
Because actually, we were talking about social media strategies. We were trying to figure
So
out
it's timely.
the best way to do it. And because social media just changes.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
Yeah, but
Joe?
it's fun. It's fun.
What are you asking me about social media?
Yeah. Because we were both, we were, for our industries, for our.
Oh, yeah.
We were very big social media presences.
Mm-hmm.
And now we both hate it.
Yeah. It's part of the beast. It's when you do it, you just start to hate it, but you have to do it.
You
because
have
it's a
to
huge
do it.
tool.
And a lot of people used to make fun of the fact that, oh, Father Leo's on social media. I know that's not how they talk, but that's how people sound.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that social media is just a place where all you want to do is become popular.
Well, it's like the whole idea of like, oh, you're just doing it because you want attention.
Yeah.
And that's not, of course, it's a part of it for some people, but that's not.
And so
that's-
you reached out and you said, basically, you're like, hi, you really need some help with your social media.
Well, I was just starting. I did social media in the secular world, and then I wanted to go to the Catholic world. And I had followed you and was like, there's a lot of different things you could do. So I
Oops,
reached out.
Part of me just wants to know, what does that even mean?
Well, you're funny. And it
Joe, did you hear that?
Yeah, I'm like, I
You're
can
funny.
hear it. Yeah, and I think you're a funny guy.
Now-
So wait, I want to.
Go ahead,
Can
go ahead,
Can
'cause
I
I know
mention
you're
my,
gonna
my
say it.
vision? My vision? Okay, my vision
gosh.
is I really want Father Leo to be one of the, I might be the first, I was just researching it, one of the first stand-up comedian priests.
Here we go.
I
This is
think
it.
you would go viral.
I am standing.
Comment below if you want him to.
Comment
stand
below. But honestly, I don't think
If this video gets to 100 likes, he will do a stand-up show in Baltimore, Maryland.
100.
Yeah. Just anything. If we just get you on the stage.
That's not a lot of
If he
likes.
gets 2 likes, he will do a Baltimore stand-up
No,
show.
so Joe, you think I'm funny. Joe, you think I'm funny.
Yeah, I think you're hilarious. I think when you're interacting with people and you can feed off of people, you're very witty and quick. And I think as a comedian, you need to have those tools honed in, because if you're interacting with the audience and stuff, you got to read the audience. I think you have all those skill sets.
Wouldn't that just destroy my brand?
No, I think that you can probably make
If it's
your
tasteful.
experience as a priest, clean, very funny, relatable, because you're also human. You're the most human priest that I know because,
Human.
yeah.
The
I
most
think
human priest.
a lot of priests that I have interacted with in parishes and in my past, it was hard to relate
Joe,
to
it's
them.
because they were hearing your confession and they were horrified.
That could be true
Let's
too.
just be honest here. They're like, you what? You kidding me? I'm kidding. No, you're actually a very good young man.
Thank you. And I'm just to clarify,
That was funny. That was funny.
I'm drinking water.
Oh, yes.
Can we
clarify,
please?
because
Because I sound like an idiot.
I look so awkward when I'm drinking. So yeah, we are.
Yes,
drinking.
okay.
People are like,
but
what is
I
going
am
on?
going to explain this as part of our silliness. We were in a little town in Tomar, which is kind of central southern Portugal. And it was a place of the Holy Knights of the Templar, the Holy Templar Knights. And we went through this museum and we were all kind of blown away.
It's really cool.
It was actually a little bit surprising because we were filming. By this point, we were all getting on each other's nerves. Let's just admit it.
Week 1.
Exactly. This is second day.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was a second day. And I try to be a one take guy and it was like 10 takes for something silly. We drive up to this castle. Thankfully, they let me in for free because I hate paying to go into churches, right?
Yeah,
and it's not because I'm
silly.
cheap.
No,
It's not
it's
because I'm
silly.
cheap.
You're-
I'm a priest,
Yeah.
right? And so, anyway, this former convent museum, whatever, castle, and we all walk in to, it was beautiful, but then we go into the church. And, I remember all of us were just kind of,
It was shocking.
it was breathtaking.
We all became
you need to put
Instagram
up-
influencers at that moment too.
What's that?
We all became Instagram influencers
Oh,
at
yeah.
that moment.
Well, for
everybody in that chapel, that church was an Instagram.
We're supposed to take your
influencer.
photo, and you're taking my photo.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the Filipino. I do photos, okay? But we all walked in, and you can almost hear.
Yeah.
No, they were actually playing chant, weren't they? Was there music or
I
something?
think there was.
There was something that was happening because we all walked in, and I felt like I was walking into a Lord of the Rings elfin castle,
But Catholic.
but Catholic.
It was really interesting.
Not that Lord of the Rings elfin Catholic. I mean, they're not Catholic, but it was just shockingly beautiful, and honestly, it kind of tapped into our inner night.
Yeah. You have to put a photo on the screen for people to see
You're gonna make me
Well, he's
edit
gonna have to do
this?
it now.
Yeah. That's for live
have to edit
cutting.
this?
Do it right now. It was amazing.
And so we all took pictures, and many pictures. Grady took the most of himself.
Of course.
And then and eventually it wound out to the bookstore. And in the bookstore, we found these, and we all felt like we needed to be like
just needed it.
the Three Musketeers.
Yeah. What's like the proper way to hold it? 'Cause sometimes I do this. Sometimes I put a pinky out. Sometimes I do, like this.
It's
probably more of a.
By the way,
masculine
it's
to-
not a chalice, so people don't freak out and don't think that I am in any way being disrespectful. It's a goblet, so you kind of have to go like this.
Yeah.
I think
You
you
just-
have to
you just
hold
go
it
for it.
tight. Yeah, and what are you guys drinking?
There's like a water fountain out there. So
Coke Zero with
Check
orange.
this out, guys. I'm kidding. It's all water, people, so don't think
Turn
that
it
we're.
into wine.
But okay, so anyways, cheers or skål or whatever it is that they say.
Cheers.
In the night's
Cheers,
time.
Cheers.
Saludo. But it's funny. Okay, we're all taking sips. Because we all discovered also that cheering is one of the most dignified things that we can do as humans. But we'll talk about that. So anyway, Grady wanted to basically make money off of a priest,
Basically, yeah.
even though I have no money.
Correct.
I pay Grady in trips.
Experiences.
you get paid?
Yeah.
In trips. In trips.
No, you treat us very well.
Okay, now people are going to think that I've got money and I'm paying you a lot of money.
No, you do, though. You treat us well.
I
No,
don't
you're fair. You're fair.
You're very
I
fair.
would say fair.
Oh, okay. So, but like,
Very
I'm
fair.
not paying. I mean, because first of all, this is a pretty small organization. Of
course.
I mean, we've got high tech people here, but it's
Yeah,
a-
but you're also
which
like,
is what a lot of people want to also find out. It's like how what do you guys do in Plate and Gray? So, if you were to explain to people, this is my job.
well, my life is a little wild, but
Okay, here we go.
it is. It's a little strange, but the work with you is very unique. It's very unique.
Oh my God! I mean, I'm afraid to ask.
I mean, we cook, and then we'll go to Spain.
You try to explain this to your parents.
Yeah.
Mom, I got hired with Plate and Grace and Father Leo, and they're like, who?
Nothing knew exactly who you are. Of course I know who you are.
Wait, who is this
Of
guy?
course I know who you are.
Oh, Tattoo. I know him. But anyway, and so what do you say to people?
It's the intersection of chef and fun and joy and Catholicism
Joe, are you
and
hearing
helping
this?
people fall in love with faith through their stomachs.
Wow. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah. That's,
But also, I think
Sure.
the trips are another layer to that.
Oh, now I want to hear what Joe has to say when he said, because you also do work just in the secular world with a lot of different, as a film artist, as a producer. I mean, when you tell people, it's like, when they ask you, like, so what do you do? Because
Oh.
you're like in that age group where everyone's interested in each other's jobs.
yeah. I mean, for the dating apps, it works really well.
Oh, here we go.
I say.
Catholic match.
Oh, I'm a TV producer for a travel food faith show.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Ooh, what's that?" And I'm
He's
just like, "Oh,
international.
you probably never seen it before," because if they don't have cable, usually
don't have cable, that's right.
Ladies my age don't have cable.
Which is a big deal. So we need to do what we can to put more food stuff on cable. Excuse me, on YouTube and such like that. But so you'll just talk about it generically because
Yeah.
I have trouble telling people what I do.
Well, I think the food thing too is I'm knocking over my chalice.
Do not break that
I
chalice.
know, it's,
I paid
we're
for
not
that.
going back.
I
mean,
paid
it's,
for that. All right.
I think the food thing is very unique though from the trips. It's kind of like a different bucket. I mean, it's related, but
Yeah. So the travel and the
travel's
food
unique.
is why Grady wants to work here.
feeds me and we go to Fatima.
Literally, Grady just takes the food that we make home.
Correct.
And
I have an idea.
oh gosh,
We need to do an episode like this, but Grady cooks us dinner.
No one, no one wants that. I mean,
cannot get sick.
so
I'm the one. I mean, if I get sick, then you guys don't have a job.
my senior year of college, my roommate Nick, who's Italian and would rip his hair out watching me cook. One night I cooked meatballs and there was sauce all over the walls. That like when we moved out of the apartment, there was sauce on the walls from the meatballs that I made.
Dude, it's called a rag.
I no, it was like grease. It was in the wall. I just hate to cook. I hate it.
Joe, cooking? Where
Oh, I love it. So in college, I would cook a lot. That's where I kind of, taught myself how to cook. But my mom's an
Wait a
excellent
minute.
cook as well.
You've seen my videos while you were in college.
Yeah, but I didn't really, I don't really
You didn't
watch
really
them.
watch them.
I cook your meals all the time.
Okay.
All you're cooking for ones, like the meatloaf and the
Now he's dropping in the cooking for one videos because he's the
Yeah.
one producing those. I see.
watch on Instagram and TikTok. But
At platinggrace.com.
yeah, pretty great. Yeah.
Okay, so I do have to ask this because, a lot of lay people who work in the Catholic Church or work with the Catholic Church, and you are, they're surprised by a few things when they're surprised. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know. Was there anything surprising that you've encountered in the work that we're doing together?
I think it's okay to have fun and to crack a joke. Like you don't have to be so serious and
Who does
solemn
that?
all the time. We all do. It's so fun.
I'm not.
Like you keep us laughing.
I keep you laughing because Grady, all I have to do is just simply say, and Grady, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. As long as Grady's happy.
As long as Grady's happy.
It's like that Metallica song, and nothing else matters. You should change it to that, and nothing else matters.
Nothing else.
Because
matters.
then every time that you say it
You just play
on
the song.
camera, I can cut to Metallica.
Oh, gosh.
I'm not going to do that right now.
And nothing else. Man, that's a lot of editing. He's giving himself more
Why did I
work.
say that? Never mind.
So Grady just now thinks that the church can have fun. But
Well, it's
were
so
you
true,
surprised
like-
by that, though? I mean, because you've been a good lifelong Catholic.
Yeah, I mean, I like to laugh and have fun, but I think a lot of times people have this notion that like priests have to be serious and like very, like, just a little over the top sometimes. When it's like you can laugh.
Okay,
like,
and I'll
have
be
fun.
honest with you. I get a little nervous because I don't think people take me serious. Oh, gosh, I feel like I'm confessing right now. But like my spiritual director would hear this. But I don't think people do take the work that I do. Excuse me. There are some sectors in the Catholic Church that don't take the work that we're doing seriously. They're like, what is all this food business? All you do is cook on TV. What does it have to do
what's
with
your answer
God?
as to why? What's the why behind that? Why don't they?
Because it matters.
You tell me. I mean, why do people not see the connections and what I would call the deep impacting effect that food has on your faith?
Yeah.
So Grady, for Grady, it's all about fun. Thanks, Grady. Appreciate it.
No,
Very-
it's about living your faith joyfully, and you can do that.
And
be
that was
very
surprising
faithful at the
to
same
you?
time. I think it was just a breath of fresh air because I don't like being too serious. You can't be too serious, and you know how to find joy in things, which is very important.
that
I
fresh
think.
air was my cologne.
That too. Yeah.
I don't wear cologne.
I know, but you don't wear deodorant. I'm aware of.
Wow. So let's explain because now
I mean,
people are freaking out.
we don't have to go that way.
Well,
but
you went
You mentioned
there.
cologne. You mentioned cologne about smelling good, but it's not that I smell a bad odor.
Yeah. Okay. So
But you've informed me about your method.
you have asked. You have asked because
just prepping
at
the
one
people.
point on a 3-week trip, he started to run out of deodorant. Then he asked if he could borrow ours, and I'm like, no.
Why not? It's just skin.
Well, for a
Just
couple
hair.
reasons. Grady would freak out because he's a slight germaphobe.
No way. Never.
Slight meaning
Never.
a huge.
I just needed one day, just one day.
Exactly. And
One day
for
too
me,
long.
I don't actually wear deodorant, and I haven't in over 10 years of my life because I just discovered that, first of all, it always irritated, my underarms. And you'll be honest, I don't stink
You don't, which is a little concerning because
because I'm clean. That's why. And I think the
interesting.
deodorant does something to your pores.
is this like a scheme? Like, do we?
I don't
do we
know.
have to
I
do,
mean-
like Old Spice.
Well, let's just put it this way. I am very conscious of your appearance and how you
Course,
come
of
across
course.
smell, because I'm a public person.
Yeah.
We're all that way. No one wants to be known as stinky and gross.
No.
Right? Goofy, I can't control. That just comes naturally. But stink, you can control.
I thought you said steak.
You can
What are we
control
doing for dinner
stink.
tonight?
Control the steak.
But it's
Preferably medium
and what's
well.
really interesting is that there's a lot of studies about just making sure that you're just cleaning well.
It's fair.
Basic hygiene 101. So now that's why Joe talked about my lack of deodorant. Well, this is a great first
Very-
episode. We are
Great
talking
first
about
episode,
armpit stench.
Very long explanation to a tangent.
So back to you, Joe. What was something surprising that you encountered with your work here with us?
That I haven't quit yet.
Hold on a second. Let me pull the
No,
knife
and
out
like-
of my back.
But what I mean by that is that, I've always struggled with my faith, but I think being friends with you and having that relationship with you, you have helped me grow in my faith, that it hasn't been a turnoff in a sense. And so how you approach faith and how you approach Catholicism and everything, it's kept me going in a sense.
No, your mother's praying for you has kept you going.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it. Yeah, too, as well.
Listen, I mean,
give you
like
both credit.
I've known your mom. I mean, let's just be very honest. Your brothers are going to be watching this, but you are her favorite child.
Maybe. Huh? No.
She-
I
I
mean,
mean-
the youngest is usually like the
favorite.
He's a
Oh,
little
you're the
sweetheart.
baby?
But
Yeah,
Joe's
I'm the
know
also
that.
been very connected to church when you were in high school,
Yeah.
younger
yeah.
high school. In fact, Grady, you might not know this, but Joe was the first original pilgrim with me. So sorry, I mean,
Darn.
Grady's now jealous.
I'm a little jealous.
But Joe went on a pilgrimage with my first that I led back to Rome, and
Oh, he's been to Italy.
he has been
That was what 20. Oh, that was 02. I think it was 02.
02.
Yeah.
By the way, Grady is, just for all the viewers here, Grady is desperately trying to get on an Italy trip.
Need to go to Rome. See Mother Church.
Grady just wants to go to Italy. He couldn't care about anything else. He just wants to go to Italy.
That's all I want to do.
All right. So Joe actually went to Italy multiple
Three
times.
times.
Must be
already.
really nice.
3 times I've been there.
I haven't been blessed in that way, I guess. I don't know.
Like, talk about greedy.
I mean, I've only
Greedy,
been to,
Grady.
Greedy. Yeah,
I've only
it's
been
like,
to
"Hi,
Jordan,
Grady."
Israel, Croatia, Bosnia, and Portugal and Spain in the last 8 months.
In the last 8 months with me.
I mean,
and that's just
the
not
fact
enough
that I
for
haven't
you.
been to Italy is really offensive. Honestly,
Unbelievable.
but it's all right. It's all right. I'll let it go. We can move on. But,
Mrs. Conley, your son, let me tell you. Anyhow, so Joe went on this trip, and Joe, I have to just be honest with you, be honest with everybody. I remember you enjoying yourself. He first of all got out of school his last year at high school
Yeah, it was my senior project.
to
That's how
write
I
a
quoted
paper about your trip to Italy.
It. Yeah.
And on one of the nights, Joe breaks down and has he literally
This is
getting
traumatizing
really
to me.
personal.
So-
This is trauma. We're gonna.
this is
What were
not
you
only
upset about?
traumatizing, it's pretty funny.
Give us a little insight. Like, what were the emotions?
Let me drink
of
from my
Rome?
goblet.
do we really want to talk about this out there?
We were at the we were having dinner at the North American College in Rome, where I went to seminary, and I was joined by a few other seminarians. And at one point, Joe had to leave the room because he was. Go ahead.
Okay, so there's a long kind of story behind this.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'll make the short condensed version. I knew you were going to bring this up. So there was like a month in my life when I was in middle school where the teachers at my school were saying, you should be a priest. You're going to be a priest.
yeah,
and
the
it was
cornball line.
traumatizing
Yep.
to me just because I was a good Catholic boy. And I was like, no, I want a wife and kids and stuff. And then this trip, I remember we were at the top of North American College. And
The
there-
best spot in Rome.
yeah, it's a beautiful spot.
Joe,
And,
Grady would never
bet.
know.
yeah,
I bet.
you won't
You will
see it
never
anytime
see
soon. And I remember who was doing most of the talking there, and that who was the guy there? It was
I don't know.
He was a priest or something.
Are you saying me?
No, it was someone who was there.
Oh, it was
living
a
there.
seminarian.
Yeah, one of the seminarians. He's like, I remember him saying, like, take a look around. These are the men you're going to be spending the rest of your life with. And I don't know why he was what he was talking about. I think he was just
Lost
introducing everybody that was there. And,
Yeah.
But that's what I heard, and I was like, oh gosh, like no. And that was like kind of the tip of the iceberg.
And he literally stormed out, bawling and crying.
Joe.
I had to walk out because I was wondering, I mean, was he homesick? What, does he have stomach ache?
happening?
Because we know how great he is
Is he
with
gonna
a stomach
vomit?
ache.
Is he
And
gonna-
so
But I was in what? I was a senior in high school.
you were a senior in high school. I had to almost rock him to sleep and to let him know that no one's asking him to be a priest.
Oh, Joe.
But I remember having a conversation with you later on. You were like, you're just being called to holiness.
Yeah.
But it's kind of taken me all these years to be like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm called. I mean, you could be a holy person, not see. But this is a unique thing because a lot of times when people hear you are working with a priest, they automatically think that you have a calling to the priesthood. Grady,
You're up, man.
Grady's
you ready?
up.
I don't think so.
I don't think so
I
either.
tell God every single day, whatever you want, I want. You just got to tell me.
You
and
might,
he just hasn't said
By
that.
the way, and some of you might even recognize Grady on live TV at the National Shrine of the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary of the Catholic University of Washington, D.C. of
my
the
gosh.
United States of America. This title has a lot of genitives in it. And Grady is a master of ceremony for the masses.
Yeah.
So you've
fun.
seen his face before.
It's fun.
Pretty cool.
It is
Serve
pretty
the
cool.
Lord.
He's on TV and now he's on YouTube.
Here we are.
All right, let's
On the
talk
Father
about
Leo show.
Let's talk where we are dishing out faith, culture, and
and
commentary.
And Joe's trauma.
And Joe's
Hey, score! So I do want to talk to you about the recent experiences of, starting the Father Leo show. Gosh, that sounds kind of arrogant because that's my name, but honestly, this wasn't my idea only. This was
Yeah.
kind of our idea collectively.
Sure
we needed
was.
to do this to kind of give a real experience.
and the
of-
people wanted it.
and the people
wanted
wanted
it.
And you know how we are. We're pleasers.
We're people pleasers.
We're people pleasers.
Yep.
And we've had a chance to just interview a whole bunch of people. Who has been your favorite interview so far?
Joe?
Actually, we just did him today. It was Luke Burgess.
Burgess.
Yeah, Burgess.
I worked with Luke for 3 years when I was at Catholic.
God, listen to him name
And
drop. Just listen to him name drop.
He is an exceptional person.
Okay. This episode is brought to you by Luke Burgess.
I mean,
An exceptional person.
He's just excellent. He's been a great mentor and a friend.
He is certainly that.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite
I think
interview?
my favorite was
If you say Luke Burgess, that's it.
no. I mean, he's excellent, but I think for me, my favorite is the Sisters for Life. I love
Let's
the
tell
sisters.
us why. What's going on there?
I just think nuns have just such a charism. It's just so special. I mean, it's like emotional because they're just so joyful and they just love the Lord. I mean, they're just
Yeah.
married to Christ. It's
Sisters for Life. No, they were fun.
They were great.
All of them have been great. Now,
And one of them is from Maine, which I did not know, which is my stomping ground.
well, then
So
that is
all that
all the
matters.
reason. And Grady,
it.
that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Hit it, Joe. Boy, this is some high-end production here. So now,
I need
let's
a
just
soundboard.
explain.
If I had
We need a soundboard.
Yeah.
How much is that?
I'll look it up.
Do we
Yeah,
have a
little button.
budget for it?
We'll figure it out.
If
We'll figure
you
it out.
join locals, we will have sound equipment. All right.
Please support the show.
Please support
It's
the
good.
show.
It's
Which,
good.
by the way, we'll talk about how people can really be a part of it all. But I do
Absolutely.
want to ask you this because we just spent 3 intense weeks together, and they were intense.
Thank God they're over. I'm just kidding. It was great. It was really great.
I'm not. I'm I'm not kidding. 3 weeks.
It was great.
A full week of filming, and then 2 weeks of pilgrimage with filming. And even while
And 150 people.
and 150 people. And while they are not actually working, Grady's job is traveling with me, pretending to carry a bag, taking some pictures, and posting on
To capture the
TikTok.
moment. To capture the moment that leads people closer to Christ.
You have done a great job with it. There's no doubt about it.
Thanks. I don't need praise. I just,
He just needs his paycheck. That's why we all have to subscribe to locals, okay? But we had visited some intensely beautiful places, starting off in Santiago de Compostela. We went to Osobrero, which is a little hamlet of a town in Spain, Eucharistic miracle. Then we went to Leon, where Grady learned how to drink Diet Coke.
Coke Zero.
Coke Zero in a bougie fashion.
With an orange.
That's what we're going to be pouring in your drink the next
It's
time.
kind of got me hooked on it. It's pretty good.
It's very good. It's unique.
But I remember when they first brought it out, Grady was offended.
I didn't know what it was. I was like,
He was
what?
like, why is there an orange peel in my Coke
Is that
Zero?
how you hear me?
And then I just said, just try it, Grady. He poured it in. He's just all of a
Excellent.
sudden started swirling it like a
I had about
sommelier.
8 gallons over the course
Pretty much.
of the... Yep.
Then we drove to Porto, then up to Braga, then down to Tomar, which was a very cool... Tomar, the Tomarian chalice. And then we went to Santarem. Yikes. Thanks for sticking with us, Joe. Hey,
a little
appreciate
delayed, but
that.
he got
A
it,
little
he got
delayed. Can we edit that? So Santarem, then Fatima, and then Lisbon. That's a lot. And then we went on the Douro River and went even as far out as Salamanca,
Salamanca.
which is how we need to pronounce Salamanca.
Salamanca.
What was your favorite place?
Joe?
You guys keep coming to me first.
Yeah.
Well, fine, I'll go to Grady because Grady's just, he was the one who was
I was
pushing it.
buzzing. I mean, I
Wait,
have 2
buzzing.
favorites. I mean, it was... You know what's so funny is, I mean, it was an amazing experience. But when I got...
Oh, and Grady's talking about buzzing. It's not because he doesn't drink, so he's not
No,
getting
I don't
buzzed.
drink. I don't drink.
Buzzing just means that he was
Just
excited.
ecstatic. Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
but-
quick note: move your mic a little that way because sometimes you're blocking
need a
your
minute.
Okay.
your face a little bit. There you go.
It's fine.
You can bring it. Okay, yeah, that's good. Great note. There you go. All right, continue on.
I had a great time. When I got home, I reflected a lot on the trip. 2 favorites. One, Fatima, obviously. Fatima is just spectacular. Just time with Our Lady. And then I thought that Santarem was really special.
And tell people what Santarem, because now we sound very
So,
snobby.
Sa-
Fatima, spent time with Our Lady. And
So
then,
I'm just going to tell the story real quick. Basically, Santarem, a woman, her wife.
what kind of show is this, Grady? Are you sure you're not buzzed?
It's the Coke Zero.
Yeah, clearly.
So
This is
this
the
woman thought that
12th
her
century.
husband was being unfaithful.
Correct.
So went to a sorceress to ask for information, and she said she would give that information in exchange for a consecrated host. She went to mass, received communion in her hands, walked out of the church. The host proceeded to bleed profusely, which everyone thought she was the one bleeding. She went home, put it in a chest overnight. Her and her husband were sleeping, woke up. There was light beaming out of the chest. They realized something was going on. They brought the host back to the
Well,
church.
they prayed.
Yes, during
all
the
night
night in adoration.
Adoration.
Brought the Eucharist, Blessed Sacrament, back to the church. The priest, as they were kind of investigating what was going on, put our Lord in a little clay pyx into the tabernacle overnight.
Wax.
Wax.
Pyx, yeah.
Next morning, went in. It had basically exploded. It burst apart, and the Blessed Sacrament was sitting in a crystal case or pyx
Since the 12th century.
since the 12th century, and the host is on display, and it is still bloody, and it is live blood. It is not the blood of a dead person. It's been studied by atheist scientists that it has the blood formation of a living being, and the blood actually changes formation based on the temperature and the time of year. And it's the same blood type as the Shroud of Turin, and left ventricle of the heart, and AB blood, which is the universal donor. So
Grady sounds just like a modern day Blessed Carlo Acutis right now.
it's just a very moving, beautiful.
yeah.
Again, not God didn't have to give us that miracle,
The
but He
town
did.
itself is pretty quaint.
Totally humble.
And then, but
Even
so
the
that-
church is humble.
So that was your favorite spot.
Favorite spot.
And of course, Fatima,
And Fatima.
because there was a Burger King there.
There was a Burger King which we went to, and Father loved it. And we had
Did he buy?
Whoppers. He
he
did
buy?
buy.
Of course, I bought it. Do you think Grady has any?
It was your idea. It was your idea.
It's because I've been hearing about it all week long.
Listen, I bought you ice cream, and it was a lovely,
I give him a trip. He gives me ice cream. All right. So, Joe, knowing that Grady picked these very holy spots, you are going to say the bar on the cruise ship.
I mean, Open bar is pretty nice. I'm not gonna
Wasn't
lie.
that great?
It's great. It's great.
It was free wine and beer and all the Coke Zero with orange peels
Thank
you could ever
God.
imagine.
I was getting up at 6 a.m. getting a beer. It was great. I'm kidding. I was. No, I do love the boat. The boat experience is great. But in terms of religious sites,
Oh,
I
no,
think,
no, not religious sites. You could say anything
Oh
you
yeah,
want.
yeah.
Your whole
No.
thing.
But I'm thinking of a moment that I felt. Well, there's two moments. One in the gardens in Fatima, where the
Yeah.
apparitions happened. I think it was nice because the group went way ahead and you were ahead, and we were filming stuff for the Savoring Our Faith. But I had a moment by myself just to kind of walk through, and I was like, breaking a sweat because I was trying to catch up. But it was
Wait,
peaceful.
hold on a second. Can you do that again on camera?
Yeah.
Okay, because that was really.
Just a little jaunt.
Let's all do that.
little jaunt.
Jaunting.
Yeah, a
Okay.
little jog. It was a little jog.
All right.
So that was lovely, and then
He said lovely. Lovely.
where was the end of the
Fistera.
Camino? Fistera.
Fistera.
Yeah.
Fistera.
Fistera, yeah.
So that little chapel, I think
Yeah.
that we found.
Joe cried.
Yeah, I got emotional again.
Yeah.
It was
got
great. It
emotional.
was honestly very moving.
Okay, so ask me. Ask me. Go ahead, ask me.
Father, what was your favorite part of the trip?
When I said goodbye to everybody in
Last
Lisbon. Yeah. No. Obviously, having the opportunity to preach in Fatima
Oh yeah, in front of a lot of people.
in front of a lot of people, which is normal. But,
Commonly found on Instagram at Plating Grace.
.com. And then the other thing, honestly, was in Fistere as well, because we had nothing's rough, but there were some challenging moments.
Well, it's a lot of work.
A lot of work. People have no clue. And when I was in Fistere, just overlooking the ocean, I was just thinking, because at the end of the Camino, people can either end in Santiago, in the city of Santiago, or they go like an extra 40 to 60 miles, I can't remember which it is, to the end of the Iberian Peninsula in the region of Galicia, which you just have to say it like the Galicia. Galicia. And it just ends because it's water. Fistere means the end of the land. And you saw this little cross in what looks like a tomb, and how people lay rocks and their shells, and even left their shoes there because their shoes.
Their shoes.
Their shies.
Shoes.
How do you put their shoes? And there were a couple pictures of people that they had just kind of carried with them the entire time and left it there as kind of a way that they were carrying them on this journey. And it was then that I kept thinking, all the people we met along the way, all of the interviews that we had done, all the struggles we went through, all the food we drank, food we ate, all the food we ate, all of the booze Joe drank, all that we drank, and just all the experience, and it just left me grateful.
Yeah.
It was just a very touching
And we had a
moment.
great lunch, which was a cool experience.
It was
And
awesome. I mean, there's a lot of cool things. So anyway, we're going to come to the end of this. I think that this was at least worth
fun.
it. I hope you did too.
we have lots of good stories.
What do you want people to experience with this new effort of ours? Because look, I'm busy enough as it is. I don't need to be doing this. But it was definitely collectively our ideas. What do you want people to experience from this show?
I mean, I think it's a couple things. I think one is for you to let your personality kind of come out a little bit, and to
Like Dr. Jekyll?
yeah, and to kind of speak freely about the things they're passionate about. And I think people very much respect what you think about things. So I think people are going to enjoy hearing.
So we need to take questions. So
Totally.
that's a big thing. So we're going to make sure that we take questions. All right. Joe, what do you want people to experience?
No,
I'm just here to film this thing.
I'm pressing
I'm
buttons
just here to
again.
get paid. No, what do I want to experience, or want you all, or what the
What do you
viewers
want the
to
viewers?
experience?
Yeah, people to watch. Who's watching?
No, I think
all 15 people.
no, just like knowing you all these years, I know what your voice is.
What do you
I know
mean?
multiple your multiple
Multiple
voices,
personalities.
but no, you're like your true voice, and I feel like you have to interact with people for that yourself to come out. And so this is an opportunity for you to do that, is to interact with people, talk to people, have conversations with people, but then also have conversations with people that are outside of Catholicism, just to see where you guys meet, and I think that's important, especially now in what's happening in the world.
I have to say real quick.
Oh, you're going to?
I think it is so important. It's so vital. And you are doing it, and you did it on your last podcast, you do it now, is you have to talk to people who are not Catholic. It is so important. And I think
I don't
too
want
many
cooties.
Catholics
Kidding.
don't do it.
Yeah.
They're afraid. It's like, yes, the church has like the fulfillment of truth, but you have to also admit that there are people out there that are not Catholic that you can learn from. There are little nuggets from people's lives that you can learn from. So having people on the show who are not necessarily devout Catholics is a very good thing.
Is this Grady defending himself because he met the Dalai Lama?
A little bit. It's a little bit, but it is
Can
very
we show
important.
No, we shouldn't
No,
show
you
them.
can't show
Yeah, I'll
my
tell you
artistic
what
work.
happened. Yeah,
Let me tell you what my objective is. My objective is actually for people to get a chance to meet you guys and more of the people that we work with, because, you know, while people might see me, there's a whole bunch of other things that happen in the background. And honestly, when people see us interacting, especially on the trip, never for Grady in Italy, but
when we go in
yeah.
October, available at platinggrace.com/travel.
Wow. You're welcome. Thank you.
You're talking way too close to the mic.
Oh, that's Grady.
Your levels are. No, you're good.
Excuse me?
Grady just wants to do,
sorry.
what is it called? ASMR. We're going to have to do one of those. Well, there's so many weird things
so
that we've
weird.
discussed.
So weird.
That's what I want to do, is I want to capture some of the behind the scenes of the show, of the work that I do, from the travels to the talks to the cooking demonstrations to the books and to the, you know, there's just so much more to it. And this is just me, give me a chance to share and show off all the amazing people that I have a chance to interact with. I'm
All right,
having
that's
a
enough.
Joe Anderson moment.
We're gonna end.
right
We're gonna
now.
end the show.
Hold on.
All right, so if we're gonna put this to a close, I need an answer from you about something.
Here we go.
Jeez.
You know,
It's gonna be juicy.
I didn't know that there was pressure on me. I was asking the questions. It's not the
This is
Joe
your
Anderson
show.
no. Do you know what I'm gonna ask?
Is Grady going to Rome?
No, not at all. I know he's
We know
not.
the
so-
answer to that's no.
Yes.
No.
Wait, Grady is going to go into an apoplectic seizure if he doesn't go. So what's your question?
I want a yes or no answer.
Jeez, a whiz.
Will you do stand up?
Wait, okay, so
If
do
this
people,
video gets a half a like, he will do a stand-up show in Baltimore, Maryland.
let's see.
I'll do it too. We'll go to the same set.
I mean, okay, you know what? How about this? I am going to give the answer on our next episode. Boy, wasn't that like a little clickbaity?
It's gonna be no.
Wasn't that a little clickbaity? I am
that's
going to
a
give my
cliffhanger.
answer
That's a good
on the next
cliffhanger.
episode.
Okay.
I've got to learn a little bit more
Okay. About what?
about what exactly you're talking about, because I have
You've never seen stand up comedy?
I
Come
have
on.
seen it, but I've never seen or even imagined me. This is just way too much. We're
Okay, so also in the comments, we'll do this. We need 101 likes for him to do. Well, that's if
101. I mean, I feel like Judas, just selling
This
Jesus out
video
for
gets
cheap.
1,000 likes.
1,000. I would
The-
say
the
like
thumbnail's gonna be like-
50,000.
Oh, this is.
Realistically, let's say if this video gets
One like. I mean, whatever the just. we just
don't
need-
even be like, if one person's life can be changed because of your comedy show, and my priesthood
There's
goes down the
actually-
drain.
I think there's a book. Someone just wrote a book about Catholicism and humor. I think
I mean,
we might need to check that.
thanks for bringing it up at the end of the show, Grady. I appreciate it.
But nothing restricts you from doing that, correct?
I don't-
Or you just want to make sure. I mean, of
Look,
course you're.
I like I said, I will reserve my decision and answer
Discern it.
just after I pray about it.
Our Lady might be like, Father, you gotta get up there.
Yeah, our Blessed Mother would not call me father.
Hey, Leo.
Exactly. No, it'd be like, my beloved Filipino son, something like that. Anyway, so listen, what we want to do is we want to have people interact. So how can people get involved? Grady.
You can, first of all, follow us on all socials so you can stay tuned to all the cool guests and exciting things that are happening
That Grady's doing.
that we're trying to do. And then also our community. You can ask questions, engage, get special content with Father Leo, with us.
Yeah, and so just to explain for people, $5 just supports what we do, and then you get access to my private commentary, not private, but my commentary after interviews.
Exclusive
which
content.
is called the carry-out order, which was a, takeaway from my experience in the interviews. And then
Which are always very
if
fruitful.
they support us with $15, they actually get all of our archived materials. And there is a lot. Joe is depressed because there's so much.
Yeah, there's a lot.
All his TV shows,
But it's good stuff.
recipes, travels,
Everything from all the shows to,
even Italy,
God,
which I'm gonna have to watch because I've never been.
wow. Well, you'll enjoy the episodes from the TV screen.
Correct.
That I filmed.
That
and
because he's
edited.
been there so many times.
Yeah,
All right,
three
let's
times.
wrap
Three
this
times
up.
to
And
be
then,
exact.
and then that we have basically a producer's credit. If people are able to support, we're going to list their names on as producers for the show. And honestly, they'll get some extra perks and discounts. And it's just a way to support the work that we do. And hopefully this is stuff that you all are enjoying. Joe, how else can they get involved?
Go to the web. You mentioned the website.
Why don't you say go on a trip?
I'm the guy that promotes the trips, right? Because I get to go on all of them.
On all of them, including Italy.
Right. So
Right.
Select International, of course, but platinggrace.com/travel. You get to
right.
go. How many trips do you do a year?
It used
4
to
or
be
5?
2, but because after COVID, people just were going nuts, it's 5,
Oh,
which is a lot.
And in all seriousness, they are some of the best trips you
yeah.
could possibly.
And what would
do.
even be great too is if people have other people that they want to be interviewed or ideas,
Yes.
send them to us. When we're traveling, we're going to be traveling as a production team. If we're in your state or in your city, you might even be able to come and watch a live show.
Yeah.
That'd be kind
Everyone
of fun.
knows somebody cool. It doesn't
Yeah.
need to be someone famous.
At the, what people experience in the restaurant industry is the front of the house. But there's so much more interesting things in the back of the house. And like I said, you've seen just a glimpse of it all. So we hope you enjoyed this show. Make sure you join our locals community. Thanks to Joe and Grady for being on. I don't have to thank them because they're going to
Glad
be
we
on
made it.
again. And thanks for not saying anything stupid
Yet.
yet. We're Joe dropping the faith bomb.
I guess we'll
Follow us
learn
on
after if
Instagram.
anything.
We will
you know.
learn afterwards if we get like -1 likes. Is that possible?
You get dislikes.
All right. Well, can't wait for the 15 people to watch this episode. But do join the locals community, and thank you for watching. We'll be back more with dishing out faith, culture, and commentary. In the meantime, thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Grady.
Do you want to show
Wow.
your sign because your sign never gets in the here? You can sign off with your sign.
My sign.
Where's the sign?
Oh, it's over there.
the
Oh,
sign?
yes.
Oh,
so we had a
yes.
sign made. And for whatever reason, Joe doesn't like it.
It's
so
just, I don't know. It's all right.
So, stick around next time for the Father Leo Show. We were dishing out faith, culture, and commentary. And stay hungry for God. See you next
Peace.
time.